Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael, and you've probably seen this in the news. This was supposed to go on to my Volvo car sales automotive channel, but it's actually going on my crypto channel because it took a fun twist. CDK has been in the news recently, as of last week, and a lot of people are, car shopping right now. It's the summertime, and people have been distraught by the fact, oh no, I can't complete my purchase. With us at Audi, it's a little tricky right now. We are still fully functioning, but it's the leases. The leases have been impacting. Service has been impacted, and they have a lot of customers going through. Essentially, there was a global outage. There was a huge cyber attack on CDK Global. And what happened is CDK provides access to over 15,000 dealerships in the U.S. So there's around 70,000 dealerships in the U.S. So approximately just a little over 20% of the dealerships in the Midwest area. There's a lot. So there's certain pockets where it's just dealer after dealer after dealer. Entire auto groups are using CDK. Usually it's contracts. These giant dealership auto groups, and part of that is Lithia has been impacted by this. One of the largest auto groups on the planet right now. And you have a bunch of smaller auto groups. You sign these contracts for multiple years on end, and you can't really do much about it. So if there was 20 car stores in one auto group, every single department uses CDK in there. And it depends on how much they have, but it could be almost the entire store can't run their business to just parts of it, like with us at Audi Exchange. So we have right now leases that can't be fully finalized. And the problem is in the state of Illinois, and other states you can, not all, but in this case, these leases cannot be finalized because you have usually you could do paper contracts. You can't do paper contracts in the state of Illinois, not anymore. They don't accept it. So Audi has gone and they found an alternative. I don't know exactly how they're doing about it, but basically they're signing the paper contracts, then they're PDF, and they're sending that out to the customers, and then it gets back, and then it gets sent to the state of Illinois, and it's delayed, but at that point you are able to register. They do have an alternative, because what happened was you have this outage and cyber attack that turned from a one-day event to now something that will impact dealerships for months. You will have, for the rest of this month, there have been bulletins, there have been emails, phones sent out to dealership auto groups that, hey, first off, we've been cyber attacked. Second off, certain systems are offline. Do not log in, because the third thing is there's phishing attempts. Not only have there been huge cyber attacks on CDK, but there's also been phishing attempts on the dealerships that have been impacted by CDK. And there was one Midwestern auto group, a large Midwestern auto group, that has fallen recently to a phishing attack. And then it's just like one disaster after another, because then you're dealing with huge privacy concerns. Well, how much data do they have? Are they talking to just salesmen, and do they have commission and HR sheets? Or are they also taking a look at client information? At that point, that's huge, because you've got social security numbers. I mean, you still have that with employees in HR, but that's different, because you might have 100 employees, 500 employees, some of these larger auto groups over 1,000 employees. But when you have a single CRM, and usually dealerships have multiple partnerships with CRMs and dealer management systems and just programs after programs. There's so much software out there, and it all gets connected. We have Cox. Cox is one of the largest auto software providers to auto dealers across the country, and they have CRMs. They have not only CRMs, but they have a huge integration with CDK as well. And Cox Automotive is purchased off Manheim and auctions and all of this stuff, and all of it's integrated with CDK for the dealerships that have both, right? So now Cox Automotive, with like Vin Solutions, the CRM, and other products of theirs, they have decided to limit CDK's access. So you have CDK, where some dealerships have everything from finance to insurance to their dealer management systems. Basically everything they have is from CDK. You have other dealerships that may not have a single thing from CDK, and they're doing fine. They're not impacted by this. Maybe they have Techion, and right now a lot of dealerships are with CDK. These Techion salesmen that have had trouble maybe the past couple months going door to door from dealership and trying to sell their software, because usually it's not like, oh, one and done, let's switch software. There's these year-long contracts, and it takes forever. But if a dealership switches, that's an amazing commission. And right now, there's a lot more interest. Techion came out, and they're a competitor to CDK, and they came out and they said, hey, we're getting a lot more interest right now. And someone's a salesman for Techion and said, this is the most amount of interest I've ever had. This has changed everything for me. So right now, you have a situation where this group, Black Suit, it's a ransomware gang. They're supposedly based out of Eastern Europe and potentially have some Russian ties. Who knows where they're really based out of. But you have this situation where they've done ransomware to hospitals and to just really, really bad stuff. And they want millions of dollars. This ransomware gets installed on these large computer networks. And these companies, these organizations panic because these are billion-dollar organizations. Not only that, but in the case of CDK, it's a $6 billion market cap company. But we're talking about a $1.3 trillion automotive industry across America. I mean, this is huge. This is impacting 15,000 dealers. Our dealership alone, we're going to sell over 200 cars this past month, right? Every single day, there's larger dealerships where they sell over 1,000 cars. Let's say like one of the largest Toyotas in the country, they sell over 1,000 cars per month. I mean, just think about that. You're selling right now the most amount of cars you can in the summertime. And service department, I mean, you've got entire departments that are shut down. With us, we're still functioning, but everything's going to have to be rewritten. There's data and whatnot. I can't go into the specifics, but you have a ransomware group that has demanded cryptocurrency, and this is why I'm posting about this channel. They have demanded a sum. We don't know exactly. Supposedly the number's being thrown around 15 million. Someone said it's as high as $300 million. They have demanded crazy amounts, like $100 million from a hospital. They have demanded tens of millions of dollars. So let's just say that millions and potentially tens of millions of dollars. And supposedly CDK has been negotiating in the background with this ransomware group, and they have paid it. And now the question comes, okay, they paid it, but what happens if 30 days from now, the same exact thing happens, or 60 days from now? And CDK said, hey, there's a 3-part process to our cybersecurity. And, how did this happen? You have 15,000 dealerships that don't know what to do because you have millions of clients impacted, billions upon billions of dollars that you can't sell these cars. You can't fully finalize them. You can sell them on paper, but the clients haven't collected it. And what if they just go to the dealership across the street? Maybe they're with Techion or an alternative company, and that's it. You lost money. So at this point, there's already been 2 huge lawsuits against CDK, and there could be more coming up, because we're talking every single day that this happens, that they're shut down. You are losing so much traffic. You're stuck. And it's not like, oh, let's shift over to the alternative company. Even if you have contracts, even if the dealership, the main owner, decides, okay, well, screw this, let's get our legal team, let's re-sign. It takes a long time to train all your staff to use this new operating software. I've worked at 5 dealerships so far, and I'm so thankful. Almost every single one of them has used Cox and CDK because it was easy, because I know these programs, and I really like Vin Solutions with Cox Automotive. But Dealer Track and all this stuff, you're using these same programs, and then you go to one dealership out of those 5, use a different CRM, and instead of Cox Automotive Vin Solutions, it was eLeads. eLeads sucked. That thing was terrible. And what's funny is that dealership did have Vin Solutions before, but they switched, and all the managers, the employees, everybody hated it. It takes weeks to train sometimes, depending on how many programs there is. So like with Cox Automotive, you might have 20 different programs, right? You might have a different program for service. You have different program for BDC. You might have a different program for the finance managers and the sales managers, and everybody needs different amounts of training. And when you're talking about suddenly thousands of different dealerships that are scrambling, you're not going to have enough trainers for everybody. It takes a long time to get everything in place and the legal aspects of this. So what's interesting is this can happen to any industry. It doesn't have to be automotive, but they chose automotive, and they chose at the worst time for a lot of these dealerships, where every single transaction, you're losing thousands of dollars on that, whether it's from the back end, the front end, whether it's from client reputation. You have a service customer that gets so upset about this because for whatever reason they can't, collect the money, or they can't finalize the documents, or there's delays, that they decide, you know what, I've been a customer here for 20, 30 plus years, and screw this, I'm going to the dealership across the town because they're operating. You don't know, that's business, it's how it works. So it is a very interesting situation that was supposed to be from a one-day situation, turned into a couple days, turned into a week, and now it's, hey, till the end of this month, potentially even longer than that. Like they're now trying to restore access, and there's a small test group of dealerships that they've restored access to, and they're looking, and eventually they're planning to restore access. But this was supposed to be one day, and it went from one day to basically a week and a half now. This is a huge impact for everything. So it's been annoying for us. There's been small things, like I'm in the BDC department. I was trying to find a customer. I haven't really been impacted much by this because we don't really log into CDK from the BDC access, but I tried seeing, hey, if a customer so-and-so has a service appointment next week, and our systems, there was one program we used that was connected with CDK, other than Bin Solutions that was connected as well, but they stopped the connection. I didn't know. Okay, small annoyance, but the service department, they're scrambling. Everything is organized from, we want to make sure it's organized according to the client side, but then you go, and on the back end, you're going to have to go back and rewrite everything and just keep track of all of this data, and mistakes could happen, and you've got HR and payroll and all these different aspects as well. And from the sales side, it's the leasing. I don't know why the leasing, I don't know why financing is okay. Maybe they used a different program for that, who knows? But all the other dealerships I've worked at used CDK as well for different aspects. Some used it more than others. Very interesting what's occurred here. And this ransomware group got millions of dollars in cryptocurrency here. So you've had a very interesting turn of events. But anyways, that is that. We'll see. It looks like everything is being restored slowly, though. So probably, by next week, we should be operational. But there have been dealerships, there's been articles where some dealerships will be impacted for months to come because they just have lost deals, and they're scrambling. They, again, if you're going through 200, 300, 500 car sales per month, and for those that have every single program with CDK, and now everything's delayed and the data's gone, the data's the most important stuff, Without that data, you're losing millions of dollars potentially of data, maybe even every day. So it's huge. It is absolutely huge. And those dealerships are the ones that are going to be suing. And it's going to be something that turned from a couple hours into a week into suddenly a couple years in these lawsuits and courts and whatnot. And this is a huge warning for cybersecurity all across America, not just across America, global. There's a lot of companies that don't care, or they don't take this seriously. And this is why. Something that should be resolved, something that should be protected. You can't protect yourself fully 100% from every single situation, but it's just this domino effect of how bad it can be. And, even something as bad as, okay, our entire systems are down, and on top of that, then you have an employee that also clicks a phishing email, and you lose even more money. Then you get impacted severely through that, because now you have to go back and see how much data, personal data, has been lost, has been accessed illegally. There's a huge problem there. So, but that was that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.